My Brilliant Career was my very first feature. I directed at age 27 in Australia, New South Wales, Australia. My producer was Margaret Fink, and I would still like to thank her for such an incredible break. It was a fantastic book. We got together a really wonderful crew, and it was a hard, tough shoot with probably not enough money. And we were really making a film that we hoped would appeal to an Australian audience, and were completely overwhelmed when it took off. First of all in Cannes, when it was accepted for competition, which is a great honour, and then it was released in America, where it became a huge hit, and of course it was a hit in Australia and England as well. The film really launched the careers of the wonderful Judy Davis and the incredible Sam Neill, and me, I suppose. I should say it launched my career internationally as well. This was a love story where our heroine turned the guy down. And it seems quite strange now, but truly 25 years ago that was like a completely radical thing to do, for the happy couple not to end up together, and for the woman to be the one that actually made the decision. I remember Grady Union, who were one of the investors and who distributed the film in Australia, and David Williams, who was the head of Grady Union, was in every way passionate about the film, but he was very nervous when we were making it, and I did have some meetings where he said he wasn't sure about that ending. He felt it might make audiences angry, and especially might make women angry.
It's not Gertie. It's you. It's you I want to marry.
I said, David, I really believe in the end that people will understand Sibylla's point of view when she says, not now. I mean, if you're a real romantic, you can believe, okay, well, maybe she'll run into Harry in 10 years' time. She'll be walking down the street in Paris, and there he'll be. And when we screened my cut to him, he turned to me when the lights came up and he said, you were right, we'll go with your ending. But it's interesting, and I'm thrilled to say that times have changed so much in the last 20 years that it's no longer considered such a brave, radical thing to do for a woman to say no. Luciano Righi was Margaret Fink's idea, and she was really, not only is she one of the world's most wonderful production designers and a complete genius and adorable to work with, she was a perfect person for this film because she had come from an Australian squattocracy. Her father was actually Italian, and she had studied design in Australia and then left, started working in the art department at the BBC, and had gone on to design some major films in England. She was the designer of Schlesinger's Sunday Bloody Sunday, Ken Russell's Women in Love. She was brought back to Australia by Jim Sharman to do Night of the Prowler, and we begged her to stay and do My Brilliant Career. And then when I did my first American movie, Mrs. Soulful, for MGM in 1984, Lucci came over and designed all the sets for that. And then she's gone on to have 2 Academy Awards, I believe, one for Howard's End, and I believe the second one was for Remains of the Day. And I managed to seduce her once again to come back to Australia to design Oscar and Lucinda. I remember when My Brilliant Career was selected for Cannes, of course I thought it was an honour, but I was really very naive about the business, and I didn't realise what a huge honour. I mean, many directors have had track records of 10 or 12 films or 20 films and never had anything selected for competition. And for a young woman's first film to be selected for competition was incredibly important. And by the time I got to Cannes, everyone had told me this. I went to the first screening, and it was literally the first time the film had ever had an audience, because we really raced to finish the film and get a print in time for Cannes. And I was sitting in the theatre, and I had that terrible feeling where I could hear every noise, every person that coughed, and I just felt more and more depressed and thought they hate it. Everyone hates it. They're bored. I can feel people moving in their seats. So in the end, I couldn't stand the strain any longer. So I decided I have to get out. Like, I really can't bear it. They're going to boo at the... I also have been told the French are very open in their opinions. So if they don't like something, they'll hiss and they'll boo. And I thought, I'm going to get out of here before they start hissing and booing. So I started trying to creep out of the cinema. And then I realized I was making noise, and I got terribly self-conscious about trying to get out. And I thought, now I'll start a stampede. Everyone will think if she leaves, we'll leave. I mean, you know, who wants to sit in this boring film? Anyway, I got out and I just paced the streets, walked up and down the streets of Caen. And finally, as I came around a corner, I ran into some Australian filmmakers who had turned up there at the screening. There was that old friend of mine from Sydney, Filmmakers Cop, and he said, "Wow, wasn't it great?" I said, What do you mean, what wasn't it great? He said, the reaction to the film. You know, people were cheering. I was like, they did? Well, I wasn't there. I ran away. Anyway, so I felt a bit braver at the evening event, walking up the red carpet, with the whole with cameras, paparazzi. I have to say, by the way, my outfit came from the local op shop. It was a 1940s dressing gown that I'd cut the sleeves off and the back out of, and I think I had an op shop necklace on. Things have changed in Australian film industry. Now people get designer frocks, but that's what I was in, with this dreadful sort of ponytail out the side of my head. I think we'd managed, Margaret Fink, the producer, had managed to get a double bay designer to give Judy something, because we both basically wore mostly op-shop clothes in those days. Anyway, the same thing happened. We were taken into the cinema and I had to sit through my film with an audience. And at the end, everybody got up. They started clapping, cheering. They turned around to me, auteur. There's actually a shot here as we were told to get up, and I was with Judy, and they were cheering her and everything, and I was like bowing, thank you, very nice, and so on. I went out and I said to the publicist, well, that was good, that was, as you said, you'd get people to react properly to the film. And they said, we can't do that. That was real. So I have to say, the two screenings, my two triumphs in life, I missed. The one in the morning I ran away from, and the one in the evening, I thought it was all set up. They told me that, we've got a great publicist and they can help things. And they said, no way, we can't make the French cheer and call out auteur. But when I think back, I think when Judy and I stood up, there was incredible warmth from the audience, that we were both so young. I mean, I was truly just a few years older than her. And also, I think, with the three of us, with Margaret Fink, Judy and I, there was an incredible sense of warmth that these three women had made the film as well. And after that, Judy was absolutely the hit and the darling of Caen.